ALS, Alternative Learning Systems.
Hello, I am Jojo Mathew from ALS. This video is about our GS 500 Plus for main exam. This is a unique program exclusively for people who are preparing and who are hoping of writing this main exam and how to maximize the score in that. You know, main exam is a different ball game altogether, especially after the preliminary exam. There is you have to really come out of the prelim mode and get into the main exam mode where you have to write everything. Your ideas have to be converted into pen down. You have to convert it into the answer sheet. It's not an easy joke. And in this particular discussion, I would like to talk about international relations. This is part of paper 2 of our GS, where 50 marks worth questions are going to come. 250 words questions and another 250 words questions. Total 4 questions you have to answer from international relations, and the total marks are 50. 150 words questions will carry 10 marks each, and 250 words questions will carry 15 marks each. And a 10 marks question you have to finish in 7 minutes and 12 seconds. So just 7 minutes. And a 250 words question you have to answer in 10 minutes and 48 seconds, or approximately 11 minutes. So you have to have good writing speed also. It's a big challenge. And just before I talk about the international relations and the topics and the previous questions a bit, please understand, there are certain things about the main exam which is very crucial, especially in IR, international relations and bilateral relations area. See, I would like to talk about what is written in the the notification about the main exam. In fact, it is written that the main examination is intended to assess the overall intellectual traits and depth of understanding of candidates rather than merely the range of their information and memory. It's not a test of information and memory alone. So many a times, we think that we have to write too many facts. It's not the test of information and memory. It is something beyond that. In fact, another statement in the notification says the questions are likely to test the candidate's basic understanding of all relevant issues and ability to analyze and take a view on conflicting socio-economic goals, objectives and demands. So the ability to analyze and take a view. So this is very important for you. See, many a times the candidates are refusing to take a view on that particular subject, on conflicting socio-economic goals, objectives and demands. So many a times when you take a view, this view should be constitutionally correct. You have to justify our Constitution of India. May not be the government in power at that time. Please understand, the answers are not always to be justifying the government view. The answers are always to justify the Constitution, our sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic, republic Constitution, and where it offers justice, liberty, equality, fraternity to all. So your answer should be justifying those values of our Constitution rather than anything else. So you have to take a view. Now in our class we will be focusing on how to take a view on all these conflicting socio-economic goals, objectives and demands, and in the process, as I told you, we may be even criticizing the government a bit with logic, with facts and figures, and not just like that, not for the sake of criticizing anything. We will not criticize. If the question demands criticism, if the question demands analysis, a critical view, we will be doing that. Now coming to the syllabus, there are 5 areas in our international relations. First area is India and its neighborhood relations. So in fact, here we are asked to answer about the questions can be about China, Pakistan, the questions can be about Afghanistan, the questions can be about Sri Lanka, Maldives, Nepal, Bhutan, and also Bangladesh, then of course Myanmar. So these are all coming under our India and the neighbors. So one question can be expecting from this particular area. The second area is bilateral, regional and global groupings and agreements involving India or affecting India's interests. So this is the area where in the last couple of years, especially 3-4 years, more questions are being asked. See, for example, questions related to ASEAN, East Asia Summit, BRICS, then SAARC, BIMSTEC, SCO, Shanghai Cooperation Organization. In fact, in the last 3 years, twice it was asked. Then Belt and Road Initiative, also India, Middle East, then Europe Economic Corridor, that particular corridor which is discussed in G20. Then, of course, G20, Non-Aligned Movement, NAM, Quad, then I2, U2, maybe AU, KUS, all these areas, where India's interests are involved. So, this is another area. The second area is about the groupings. And the third area is related to our effect of policies and politics of developed and developing countries on India's interests. So, here policies and politics of developed and developing countries. So, wherever we are having some important engagement, for example, India-US relation, it's a very important, the most important relationship, because US is the most powerful country in the world. You can see in the last 5-6 years, almost every year there is a question related to the US. Then Russia is another very important area, France, Germany, Australia, Japan, Israel, Iran, UAE, then South Africa. These are some of the countries where you can expect questions in this particular area. So, both developed and developing, in fact, the Middle East. It's a very important area. So, all these areas questions can be expected. So, where India's interests are affected. A fourth area where questions are regularly being asked is our Indian diaspora. See, Indian diaspora is very interesting because, they are playing a very crucial role in the politics of other countries, and our, when the remittance to India is so high, we are touching $100 billion, even more than that. So, the Indian diaspora's role is increasing, and we were not the earlier situation where, the poor Indians traveling for some survival job, but now we are in the higher levels also. So, many of the multinational corporations are headed by Indians. We know it very well, all these things. So, in all these scenario, Indians in US, Indians in Europe, Indians in Canada, Indians in Gulf, in Southeast Asia, all these areas. So, last 5-6 years, if you look, every 2-3 years, one question on Indian diaspora is there. Even about the indentured labor earlier. So, all these areas questions are being regularly asked. Okay, and finally, a fifth area is important international institutions, agencies and fora, their structure, mandate, etc. Say, for example, the UN, WTO, then other UN agencies like UNESCO, etc., World Bank, IMF, a New Development Bank, Asian Development Bank, Asian Infrastructure and Investment Bank, all these questions are very important. So, there are 5 areas in which questions can be expected. 4 questions are being asked.